So results, you can create this object called results, and you can use the assignment operator, which is that less than sign and dash. And you have it, so it imputes the result of this get mode function into results, such that when you say print results, it just gives you the answer 100 from above. So if you try that, you can try creating an object results and use the same code you've used to generate mode, just get mode after you've created the function, and then try printing results to see how that works. Before we go to the next section. Is anybody interested in sharing their screen? I'm tired of looking at my own screen.
Sorry, I just want to say that maybe at the head of the hour, we can just do a quick catch up for people who will be joining at that time.
No problem.
Okay.
Sounds good. Who is interested in sharing their screen? Philip, Glory. Hi, Mamona, welcome. Hi, Theophilus. Otsunaya, are you having an, oh, okay, Philip is sharing the screen.
Yeah, I just have a question on the get mode function.
Okay, please go ahead.
I see like three sets of code.
So get mode function.
Yeah,
yes.
So do we have to like do it like every time we?
So this, like I mentioned when I think it was Otsunaya that asked that question the first time. It's a good idea to actually save the code, right? So because if you want to create that get mode function a different time, you will actually have to use the same code. So like I mentioned earlier, it's like a combination of functions that gives you that final function that's supposed to help you get the statistical mode for any data set or specific variable within a data set that you're looking at. So the other thing I mentioned again is that by the time you start installing packages, there are packages you can install that will just generate the mode for you when you are maybe calling specific functions within those packages. Like within this HAR Lab 2, we will talk about a package that generates summaries. So even things like doing median and mean, sometimes you won't have to enter the main, code or median code by yourself. You can just have, maybe you will call a particular function, and we'll get to that in this lab. You call a particular function and it just gives you all the summaries, like it gives you mean, median, standard deviation, all those basic summaries that you're looking for, minimum value, maximum value, instead of you entering it individually yourself. Some of those packages will have mode. We'll check this one if it doesn't have mode. The one we use in this class, I'm not sure if it has mode or not, I can't remember. But basically that's the answer. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, great. So what we wanted to do, the next thing we wanted to do is review proportions and frequency tables. You can share your screen. We can use your...
Okay.
Yeah, we can use your own computer to do the next part. So to obtain counts, there's this line of code in the document that says ith table, assignment operator, then table into bracket ht ith. So what we're doing with that code is we're creating a new object, height table. And then what goes into ith table is basically the output of this table function. So there is a table function, right? So what the table function is used for is you use it to quickly create frequency tables of data. Like, so you can enter the code in your computer now. Like you can run this code, this iTable code. Try running that code chunk. I will suggest you actually run the code chunk in, let me see, 95 to 98.
Okay.
Yes, ith. But try running, no, not ith100. Try running the code chunk in 95 to 98. Yes, so you see the output that this gives you now. It gives you 0 and 1, then 52 and 44. So, but essentially what this is doing is it's telling you that, okay, there is 0 and 1. Those are like, will I say the data types or okay, let's say the observations within that particular variable's data sets and the frequencies of those observations. So it's saying that that data set, that variable within the data set, the variable ith100 within the data set ht basically has two observations, 0 and 1. So under 0, there are 52 observations. Under 1, there are 44 observations. So I'll suggest you do something just to get a sense of what we're talking about. You can go to the tab where you have HT open. So, you know, you have HT open, that HT data set, you have it open, yes. So at the top, at the header, you're saying, you know, there's ith, ith2, ith100. So if you scroll up and down, you see that there's only 0 and 1, zeros and ones. If you scroll all the way down, yeah, you see that there is zeros and 1 out of all the 96 different observations. So there are just zeros and ones. So what that table function applied to your ith100 column or the ith100 variable, what it has essentially done is it's created a table for you where you have header 0 and 1, and then it told you the headers are of the observations, and then it told you, oh, this is the frequency, this is the number of times we saw this observation 0, and this is the number of times we saw the observation 1. So that's what that has done. So you can go back to the R Lab 2 code. So then we can run another function to obtain the proportions. So that's the one you have in code line 102 to 104. So this basically helps you obtain the proportions. So proportions as in like a fractional proportion of, oh, if you do from the one above, you had like 52 plus 44, that's 96 in total. So the proportion of that is just 0.54 and 0.45. That's like the proportion when you consider the whole as 1. So you can now do like percentages, you can obtain percentages. So to obtain percentages, we're going to introduce a new function. So now we've introduced different functions. The first one we introduced was table for getting like proportions and frequencies. So the first one we introduced was table. The next one we just did was prop.table, which is just proportions in the table. Then the third one we're going to talk about now is percentages. So what this there's a round function that you're going to use here. I mean, the way to think about it, you can think about it as just multiplying the proportions by 100 to get the number of percentage. and then you use the round function. You see that you're using the round function on, you discover that, okay, so I just saw a chat and that kind of, so we're going to, we sent the meeting invite we sent, there was an error, but we'll recap what we've been doing at the end of the hour by 11. We'll just do a recap of what we've been talking about. So as I was saying, what the round function does is it basically rounds the value. So, and there is an argument within that round function that is called digits, right? So what that digit does is it specifies the number of decimal places. The default is usually 0. Here we've left it at 0. So basically, when we do the operation within this round function bracket, so we have 100 times prop.table of height table. The result it gives us, we round it to 0 decimal places, and then it gives us the percentages. So that's basically what we've done there with that round 100 times prop.table. And if you run that code, yeah, I think you ran that code and it basically gave us 54%. That means 0 occurs 54% of the time, and 1 occurs 46% of the time. So before I go to this next part, this next part that says multiple quantitative summaries, it basically just, this is the part where we will get to what I was mentioning earlier when you were asking questions about mode, that do you have to create this, mode function all the time when you are asking for, when you are trying to find the mode of a data set. So some of those packages that we use in those situations, one of those packages to get summaries, multiple quantitative summaries, is table 1. Interestingly, table 1 does not have mode as one of the ones it generates, but there will be other packages similar to table 1 that will have mode. So, but essentially what we'll be talking about next, I'm stalling now just so that at the end of the hour, we can do a recap for people who didn't join at the beginning. So one of those packages, the very common one that a lot of people use, is table 1. So table 1 will give you the summary. So it will give you a lot of quantitative summaries. So it will give you the mean, standard deviation, median, minimum, maximum, skew, CORT. So instead of you entering the code, the individual code for all those different summaries by yourself, using a package like table 1 will help you generate that automatically with like a single line, almost like a single line of code. So, but I think one thing we can do now is, if anybody has any question for what we've done so far before we go to the multiple quantitative summary section, which is like almost the final section before we do exercises. So I think you can just ask the question, or if you are trying to set up something on your computer, maybe setting the working directories, any issue that you might have or questions, we can answer that now. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question on table 1. You talked about getting the mean, median, mode, but when I go to when we go to okay, maybe I should run the code, but I don't understand how does it work?
Okay, so you actually don't have table 1 installed.
Okay.
So that's what we should even try doing. Everybody should just start trying to install table 1 in HAR. So let's go to your packages and check if you have table 1 there. So we'll just load it. I assume you don't have it, so we'll have to install first. So in your search bar, you can just type in table 1 in the search bar to see if you have table 1. No, you don't have table 1. Nice. So you can do the install.packages thing for table 1. And remember, HAR already gave you an alert at the beginning of when you just loaded that HAR lab 2 document. It says package table 1 required, but it's not installed. So you can actually just click that install at the top. And you can also use the install.packages function as well. I think with install.packages, you have to, okay, it's installing on your computer, but I expect that there will be double quotes. It's when you are using library, you don't use quotes, but with install.packages, you kind of have to enter the package you want to install in quotes. Let's see, are you having our table 1 installed? Okay, it's installing. Hopefully you don't get any errors. Okay, looks like you have it installed. Perfect. Oh, object table now. Try again. Let's do library table 1 too. Okay, you have it downloaded. Nice. So you can now load table 1. Nice. Okay, perfect. You can just run the code between line 116 and line 121 again. And now it runs. Great. Anyways, so now it's the end of the hour. We can do a quick recap of everything we've been doing from the start. Apologies everyone that just joined.
Sorry.
Okay.
I imagine that people who are joining at 12 will just be joining now. Can we maybe give them an extra minute or 2 before we do this?
No problem.
Yeah.
So has anyone else installed table 1? You can try installing table 1 if you haven't installed it. Otsunaya, have you been able to install table 1?
No, I'm currently on it.
Okay. If you have any questions on installing it, when I tried installing table 1, I know that I had an error. And it was error about compatibility between my HAR and the package. So I had to choose some particular option about the source that it will install from for me not to have errors. So that's why I'm interested if there are any challenges with installing table 1.
Sorry, I'm getting error not found.
So I wish you could share your screen so that we'll see. What kind of error are you getting? Let's see if there's a way we can see your screen. I'll try pinning the video. So error in initial packages, object table 1. So can you try going to your packages section, the package window? There's a package tab in the right lower hand corner. So check the packages tab and just search for table 1. Let's see if you even have table 1 already downloaded. You can use a search bar to search for it. You don't have table 1?
No, I don't.
Okay, so Let's do install.packages, table 1. So install.packages, you have to enter table 1 within double quotes. I think that's the error you had from the first time you tried to do it. So within the brackets, table 1 has to be within quotes. Table 1, double quotes. So if you try running this, I think that should work now. Do you think it's working? Is it showing you any sign that it is?
Yes, it's working now.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So to get table 1, I would suggest that the first thing you do, hi, Yusuf Bakari. I'll suggest that the first thing you do is to go to your packages section to see if you already have it. If you don't have it, what you will do is install the packages table 1. So let me see, install, I'm trying to type that in, install the packages table 1. So I just typed in the chat the code you can use. So if you enter that code in your console, you should install table 1 and you can have the table. The interesting thing is also that if you load the HowlLab 2 document for the first time, it actually prompts you, it informs you that table 1 is needed but is not installed, and it prompts you to install it. So that's another way to go about it. Dr. Abiri, are you trying to say something?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was not on mute. I'm just typing away.
Oh,
sorry.
okay, no problem. All right, so I'll do a recap now. Apologies, everyone. In the invitation sent, it was 5 p.m. instead of 4 p.m. like the last time. So that was an error on our part. So some people were here at the beginning. So we've gone through like an initial part of the lab. But what I will do now is do a recap. So people that are just joining can understand what we've been trying to do so far. So I'll try and do a recap before going ahead. Okay. So the first thing I will say is for this lab, you need HowlLab 2, the How Markdown file, HowlLab2.rmd. If you don't have that already, I'll post HowlLab2.rmd in the chat again, so you can download the documents. So let me start by sharing my screen. HowlStudio. So if you don't have HowlLab2.rmd, you can just download HowlLab2.rmd. I just posted it in the chat again.